Can Mike and Laura retire next year? That's going to be what our next $200 plan consultation will be here. So let's go into this, man. Let's go into what they have. So the first thing I like to do is we just want to look at the dashboard. And, Mike sent me his stuff. And I just typed it in here. I literally Mike and Laura sample in Pennsylvania. And that's pretty much all you'll know about them. Just Mike and Laura. You can see that Mike's got $321,000 in his IRA. Laura's got about $150, and then she got another $50 in a lump sum, which will be rolled into that IRA once she retires. They got about $8,500 in a checking account, a little bit over $500,000 in liquid assets or financial assets, a home that's paid off, $150,000, and no debt. Pretty cut and dry, which is fantastic. So let's go meet a little bit about them. We'll see how old Mike is. So Mike is 64, Laura is 61. Mike turns 65 next year, this year, all right, and then Laura turns 62 in September. All right, so there's 65 and 61 at the end of 2020, and then their goals are to retire at 66 and 62. So Mike wants to work one more year, it looks like, into next year, the following 2022, I believe. But when he's 66, he wants to retire. Laura at 62. All right. Their retirement expenses are $3,200. That's what they told me. I'm not telling them that. That's what they told me. I got Mike's annual healthcare costs at $350 a month once he hits Medicare, and that's Part B, Part D, supplemental, and some copays and whatnot. I got Laura's going to be paying $7,000 a year until she hits 65. Then it'll drop, and I'm using $7,000 a year to all inclusive, whatever. That's gonna, and then it'll drop to about half of that once she's on Medicare. And then the nice thing, the software calculates the premiums based on their income. So if you're worried about IRMA, you have to pay a higher fee. The software now calculates that. Just make sure instead of using a simple approach, you use a detailed approach. So you can see the detailed. You can see the simple. So you definitely want to make sure you use the detailed if you're going to take it before Medicare and put how much your annual fee will be, your cost annually. And if you want out of pocket, by all means, put that in there too. Annual pocket. Actually, the out of pocket is once you hit Medicare, so put that in there as well. They don't have any consideration for annual long-term care costs, which is good because they have a home that's paid off. That's what they'll use. We don't have any vacation goals or anything. Right now, Mike makes $40,000. He'll make that till he retires. Laura makes $40,000. She'll make that till she retires. Mike's Social Security is about $1,400 at his FRA, full retirement age. Laura's a little bit more than that, $1,800 at her full retirement age. All right. Actually, when Mike is going to, I think Mike's going to die at, Mike will die at 85, Laura at 90. All right, cool. Let's go to net worth. Actually, just income. Do we go over that? Yeah. And then Laura is going to get a pension of $11,220, and because she's 4 years younger than Mike and a lady, she will not take a survivor benefit. It would not make any sense whatsoever for her to take a survivor benefit. All right, so we don't want to do that. And the whole thing is not. There's no cost of living adjustment either. All right, so good. So let's keep going here. Their net worth is consists of, like I said, the checking account, savings account. They got a house that's $150,000. They pay $2,200 a year in property tax and $500 a year in homeowners insurance. Again, this is what they're giving to me. I mean, I'm just literally they filled out that questionnaire. I put it in the system. That's it. Now their investment portfolio is the biggest net worth. Mike has got 80% in stocks. I'm just using the S&P 500 as a proxy, and 20% in bonds. I'm using the Ginnie Mae as a proxy. Laura has got that lump sum at $50,000, essentially in cash right now. That will be added to her 403B, but we should actually, that's what will be rolled into an IRA. So we're just going to say this is an IRA. And right now, Laura is 50% in cash and 50% in bonds. All right, so that's what will happen. Once she retires, that $50,000 will be rolled into here, and that'll be 50-50, bonds to cash, and then basically Mike's 80-20. So if you look at their total investment portfolio situation here, basically 50-50 portfolio, all right. 4.7 is what I expect the annual rate of return from now until the day they die. with an 8.3% standard deviation. All pretty commonplace there. That might be on a little bit on the low end. I have no idea. We just don't have any idea. And this target allocation is meaningless. It's just what I put in. I always show people this, like, look, your best you're going to get, I think, is 7.5%. And if you want to, and I'll show you what to do. If you want to make it the highest return, I think that I'd feel safe in presenting to you. You'd want to be, say, it's a total stock index, which has a much higher standard deviation and a much higher rate of return. If you want to be more conservative, you do all bonds, which I think is what 2.8% with a 4.6% standard deviation. So you can do whatever you want. I don't care, but if you want to show a higher rate of return with more volatility, then you do 7.5. I'll show you how to do that in just a second. Tax allocation, everything's in tax-deferred assets. All right, so let's just take a gander at their tax here, and you can see they live in Pennsylvania, so I think Pennsylvania is pretty favorable to retirees. So this 3.1% I think is going to be off a little bit. I do not think they'll pay 3.1%. To the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania taxes. The software for when it comes to state taxes somewhat it does leave some to be desired. That's a fact. But but again, I'd rather err on the side of caution. I'd rather be conservative in my analysis than overly optimistic, if that makes sense. What else here? We want to go. No, we don't want that. We want to go to. Right here. Withdrawal from strategy, tax deferred first, then taxable accounts. Well, that's really only option that they have. We have to take it from tax deferred because that's where they got their money. All right, so let's go to retirement. Let's see how they're looking here so far. And they got 100% chance of not run out of money under the current scenario of $3,200 a month for retirement monthly expenses. So they're not run out of money. They're leaving just short of $1 million when they die, and I actually don't know if they have heirs or not, but they're leaving just short of $1 million, and that's taking $3,200 a month in income. That's living to 85 for Mike, 90 for Laura. I don't know why I don't have Laura's planning horizon in here. So let's take a look at. Actually, I want to show you something. What happens if they hired a guy to run their money for them? Now let's take a look there. So we're going to do 1% AUM fee. And that reduces it from $934,000 that they leave to $684. So yeah, we don't want to pay a 1% AUM annual. That's assets under management fee. No, don't do that. I'm just curious. What if we change this to $3,000 a month as opposed to $3,200 a month? Let's hit Krakow. The proposed plan, yeah, that leaves a little bit more to the heirs. Still 100% chance of not running out of money. We can just put that back. Boink. All right, so that's I want to do so asset allocation. If we made that 100% stocks, that's 7.5%. It would change a little bit, give about another $1 million to leave it to the heirs, but it doesn't really change that much of a benefit to take on more risk. Well, if we went to all bonds, that's our least aggressive. You can do this right here, the drop down. That's our least aggressive portfolio. It drops it by about 50,000 or so. So not a big change. So I'm pretty comfortable with the current allocation, 50, 25, 25. I'm pretty comfortable with that. That looks like all I want to show you there. Let's have Mike retiring 1 year earlier. We'll see if he retires at 65. And they still have 100% chance probability of success. So that's good. So Mike could cut a career earlier if he wanted. But let's just we'll go. I want to show you a couple of things here, and then we'll dive into the cash flows. So we go to confidence. Yeah, I like to see this. So what this shows is that this is just showing in future dollars, the blue vein is a median. What's the likelihood of that? 50% is above that, 50% is below that for liquid assets, liquid net worth. And we fast forward to Mike is 76 and Laura's 72, I think. 50% of the time, they got $649,000. No less than 5% of the time do they have anything less than $400,000. And you can see here, they're not getting anywhere near zero. The lowest they ever get was 368, 356 right there when Mike is 69, 356. And that's before Laura starts taking her Social Security. Let's see here, 781, 823. Yeah, so the lowest they ever get in terms of the 356 right there, the fifth percentile. So 95% of the time they had more than 356,000. That's pretty good. And the reason for that is quite simple, is that basically almost 80% of their income is stable. Social Security and pension. Social Security and pension. The others from withdrawals from the portfolio. Actually, I do want to see something else, though. Watch this tax. See that right there? I mean, it goes from 7.9 to 11. You know, that's a pretty significant tax increase, and that's a widow's tax trap right there. Mike dies at 85. Taxes jump up quite a bit. We'll go into that here a little bit more in detail. Let's go back to retirement. And I did this right here. Is it here? Right there. Let's go to comparisons. Let's go to invested assets. And let's say they're down 45%. So what you see here, they got on average, not on average, they got 1.235 million if we just use a standard 4-point, whatever it was, the rate of return, a linear rate of return, which, you know, you don't want to do, but I mean, at the end of the day, it gives you something to consider. It's interesting. So if you just got a straight line rate of return, I think it's 4.8%, you'd have 1.235 million. What happens though if you had 45% down the first 2 years, then only had 2% a year growth after that, and then it went to 419. So you see that it went from baseline 1.2 million if we had down to 419. So they still survive even if we had a significant down first 2 years and we only had 2% growth after that. We're still sitting pretty good. Strong growth scenario, we have 3.037 million. Yeah, I would never use that. Flat 0% rate of return, we have $270,000. So even though we didn't get killed the first 2 years because we're only getting 0% rate of return, inflation and taxes are still eating us alive, we're losing money, even though here we had 2% rates of return after we get knocked around by 45. And what I do in this regard right here is I think I do what down 45% the first couple years, up 5, up 5, up 5, down 5, up 5, up 5, up 5, down 5. So I mean, because we can randomize this to a blue in the face. It's just frankly, don't waste your time. So income, let's do down first couple years, and their actual income increased a little bit relative to how much of their income is stable. Not their income didn't increase, but how much of it is stable simply because they got hit hard in the market. Interesting, huh? You can see they got, all right, so let's go into strong growth scenario. When they get more growth, less of their income is stable. More is coming from their portfolio. Flat 0% rate of return, more of their income is stable. Less is coming from their portfolio because the portfolio is dwindling in front of our very eyes. Yeah, I don't care about all that. All right, so let's, again, we're looking pretty good here, man. All right, so let's do a couple things. Let's look at cash flows. So their income flows in 2020 is Mike's salary, and Mike is going to work. So Laura's done. So basically, Laura's done at 62. Mike's going to work for a couple years, a couple months into his 66th birthday. So into 2021, he'll work with that 2 months or something like that. And that's it, man. Now Laura's got her pension kicking in. You can see it's flat. So if we go down to 2022. That's when Mike's taking Social Security, and his Social Security is about $20,000 a year. Laura's got her pension, so they got $31,000 of total income flows. Fast forward to 2025, Laura takes Social Security on top of Mike's, and we'll see that they have almost 50. There's Laura's Social Security, there's Mike's. They got almost $50,000 a year in Social Security. All right, and they got $60,000 of income there. Not too shabby, if I do say, because watch this. Their expenses, man. Their expenses, they got right there $31,000 coming in 2022 from Mike's Social Security and Laura's pension. They got $50,000 going out. They got to pay $3,600 taxes, so their total outflows are $59,000. Total inflows are $31,000. Total outflows are $59,000. That means they got to come up with $28,000 in which to pay the bills. Where do you think that comes from? Well, we click on accounts and we go to withdrawals from accounts. And there it is right there. That's where they got to take the money from, right there, $28,000 in which to pay the bills. All right, and the same thing the year before because Mike wasn't getting Social Security in 2021. He only had two months of work. So that's where. Now, if you go down to RMDs, watch this. Now they got RMDs of $15,000, but that's a required distribution, but it's going right here to the taxable account. So they got to take it out to pay tax. It goes right here. Take it out to pay tax. It goes right there. Yeah, let's just keep going back here. All right, so now we got tax payments. We got $70,000 of inflows. Where's those? And we'll go to 2034. Where are those inflows coming from? Social Security and pension. All right, so they got 70,000 of inflows, and they got to take RMDs, 31,000 of RMDs. Let's take a look. Plan distributions. Yep, right there, 31,000 of RMDs. That's a lot of money, man. So 31,000 plus in 2034, the 70,000 that they got from Social Security and pension means they're netting $25,000. They have $25,000 of surplus income, man. But that means they got to pay higher in taxes. So it's tough. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years basically, 2029, in which we might do some Roth conversions. Let's just go down to when Mike dies. So Mike dies when he's 85, and you can see the income drop from 81,000 to 769, and the reason for that is simple, is because Laura's Social Security, Mike's Social Security will go away, so that's about $30,000. I bet that's the equivalent of Mike's Social Security. And let's take a gander, 2,000, and right here, 2,000, right there. Yep, right there. That's the Social Security. So Laura loses, see that, $31,000. That's what Laura's going to lose. Instead, she's going to get her own. I'm almost wondering if she should wait till she's 70, because it wouldn't make any sense for her to get her spousal benefit. We could try that. I'm not saying she should, but we'll try that. Anyway, so let me go back. So anyway, what you'll see here is you got this significant $30,000 drop off of $81,000 of income. That's a 37% decrease in income, and yet taxes go up from $12,570 to $14,400. A freaking damn widow's tax trap, nuts. All right. That's not good. I mean, be that as it is, she's not run out of money, but we need to step up this and do some Roth conversions here. Let's have Laura take Social Security at 70. Let's just see what that changes here. We have income, Laura's Social Security, because she's going to lose Mike's. And look, she's not run out of money. I mean, it's not happening. But if she can wait to take her own in order to get a bigger benefit when Mike dies, yeah, that leaves a little bit more money for sure. That might go nicely though for taxes here. 971. Let's have them both take Social Security at 70. Let's see what that looks like. 969. Not much difference there. So we'll have Mike take it at 70. And Laura taking it, Mike taking at 67, Laura taking at 70, and see, yeah. Let's see if we have them spending $3,500 a month. Yeah, see, okay, they have a lot of wiggle room here. Let's have them spending $4,000 a month. Again, that's Laura taking at 70. Yeah, it's 94% chance. As long as I'm over 75, I'm pretty comfortable with that. Let's just show you the confidence there. So right here, when Laura's 90, 89, right there at her 89, they have 5% of the time they run out of money. But that's not an issue to me at all. All right, but let's go back. Let's just so anyway, they got a lot of they get a lot of wiggle room, man. So let's go back here. Let's have Mike retiring at 65. Don't forget, we got Laura spending money on her own health care pretty significantly before Medicare kicks in. If Mike were to retire at 65, they're still fine, man. Again, this is Laura taking Social Security at 70. I just think that's the right move. So let's go back to cash flows. It's current plan. Yes, Laura taking at 70 income. Let's go to expenses. They got living expense. That's $3,200. Go to current post. I forgot what it was. What did I say? $3,500, something like that. Should be 42,000. Or did I go back? Okay, I didn't change. Okay, it's the same. All right, so we got living expenses, $3,800. That's $3,200 a month. The $38,000 housing is their property tax and homeowners insurance. Healthcare is that right there for Laura. Yeah, well, Mike's got to have some health care. Why is it not showing up? Hold on a sec. Let's make that happen. He's turned 65. All right, so what we're going to do... No, because I got you. I got to go to... Actually, let me go back. That was interesting. That's the first time I've seen that. So let me go back. I think it's cash flows. We go to... I want to go to... Analysis. 65. That was good. Okay, good. I think I know what I want to do. Let's go to profile, goals, right there. And then we're going to go to simple detail. 7,000. All right, we're going to say Mike has $7,000 of healthcare expenses before Medicare as well. All right, so now let's go to retirement. Cash flows. Expenses. His current plan. Proposed plan. There it is. Huh. Why is that 17? Did I not do... That's not enough. We got to make that bigger. Why is that count up? Clients retirement health care. Part B. Part D. Okay. I got to add some expenses in there. Okay. Let's go to, oops, got to go to goals. Yeah, that's weird. Pre-Medicare. I get that, but yeah, I don't like that. All right, so make sure you put some out-of-pocket expenses here, man. Let's put $1,500 each. Save. We're gonna put 1,500. The Part B and Part D, but it didn't put a place for supplement, so we want to supplement. Actually, I'm thinking we're going to do 2,000. Okay, they just started adding this not too long ago, so I'm still learning that as we go. But again, we want to err on the side of caution here. All right, so let's go back to retirement. Cash flows. We're going to go to expenses. Healthcare. There we go. All right, good. There we go. All right, sweet. So that's Mike's healthcare. That's Mike's Medicare right there. Good. That looks pretty good to me. That's Part B, Part D, and other. Okay, that's perfect. That'll be supplemental, out of pocket, anything. Eyes, ears, eyes. Wait, head, shoulders, knees, and toes. Knees and toes. All right, cool. That looks pretty good. I like that. And there's Laura's 7,000. Okay, cool. Good. Because Mike is will be on Medicare this year. All right, cool. That looks good, man. Good. All right, good cash, Josh. All right, so that's proposed plan. I think these should both be the same. Because current plan, because we have Mike still working. Okay, so basically his healthcare is through his work. Gotcha. Okay. Because income flows, that's what it is. Mike's still working, so his healthcare expenses are through his work. So we're saying this is $40,000 pre or post health insurance. All right. Okay, I get that. That's just make sure, guys, that you tell me if what you're bringing home is after tax. I'm going to presume is pre-tax, but it's also after healthcare. So I'm going to assume when you send me the bill, not the bill, the income, that your income is pre-tax, because we're going to calculate the tax in software, but it's after healthcare expenses have been deducted. All right, so that was pretty good. All right, I like that a lot. So we don't really need to take on more risk than we need. So the difference here is just Mike retires at 65 as opposed to 66. Yeah, they're leaving $100,000 on the table, but flip and do. Also, watch this too. We're gonna go to expenses. I just showed this: 38,400 in 2020, 49,155 in 2030. and we go down to 62,923 and 24. I mean, that assumes your expenses go up each and every year with the rate of inflation. I'm inflating this by 3% a year. Health insurance inflates at 5% a year, and your Social Security only grows by 2.6. All right, so the one thing, so they're not run out of money. I don't think they need to change their investments at all. I like the idea of 50% stocks, 25% bonds, government bonds, and 25% cash. I'm a fan of that for sure. In fact, I would say even if they do, Mike does retire next year. If they want to do 3,500, I bet they're going to be fine. Yeah, they're still going down to 501. So that's, they got lots of wiggle room here. What if we did that shouldn't change anything. Yeah, because they're just pulling from their IRA before they pull from taxes. All right, I'm just mumbling there. That does. All right, so let's start looking at some Roth IRAs, shall we? Let's put all this back. 3,200. What's up, big man? What's up, big man? Let's put this back to 66. Yeah, what a good doggy. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to Profile. Good boy. And we're going to go to Income. And we're going to have Mike's going to take some Roth conversions. All right, so let's do Mike's Roth right there. All right, so Mike's Roth conversions. Oops. Mike's Roth conversions right there. All right, let's do 50,000 a year from 2021 to 2030. That'll be 10 years to convert to Roth. It's coming from this IRA. That's good. Just bear with me just a sec. Let's make sure it's an IRA or 401k. IRA. Okay, cool. All right, so let's take a look at that. The first thing we like to do is look at the tax consequence. Ooh, I like that. Oh yeah, I like that a lot, man. I like that a lot. So he's definitely leaving Laura a whole lot less of a widow's tax trap. Oh, that's fantastic. 8% to the feds and freaking. So watch this. Look at that. I got 69,000 Social Security, of which only 10,000 is taxable. They got RMDs, looks like about $13,000, but because their standard deduction and standard deduction itemized and personal exemptions are above their taxable income, that's fantastic. I hope that makes sense. So basically, what we're doing here is we're saying, look, they got 13,000. Laura's still got IRA money. She's taking an RMD on top of the $10,000 of taxable Social Security, so their total AGI is $24,000. But their standard deduction alone is $22,000. Back in 2035, we'll go back to personal exemption. So you got $34,000 of deductible income, and then you got $24,000 of a gross income. So what we might want to do then, instead of doing what we did there, is go back to Profile, Income. Maybe we want to ratchet that back a little bit to pay less tax on the front end. Yeah. So stop paying tax at 75. And again, I think that Pennsylvania tax is too much. Let's try one other thing here. Income. Do 25,000. And 6.9, 9.3. That's a tough one there. Why are they leaving Laura so much more here? All right, so let's take a look here. Why is Laura having to pay that much more? Or is it just the way the software, the graph is shown? Let's take a look. So they got to pay 7,000, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 12, 12, 7, 7, 8, and hardly anything. And that's not going to work. We don't want that, man. I mean, yeah. Huh. Oh, because they also got to live off the IRA. So now they're taking 25,000 out to convert plus the money got to live off. Let's have Mike taking Social Security at 70. Let's just see what that does. All right, so we're going to Mike take Social Security at 70. Still, man, that just looks pretty good to me. So let's go down to 2000. Even go down to 2045, and they got 43,000 of gross income, 14,000 standard deduction, 7,600 bucks of personal exemptions, 21,000 is taxable income on 54,000 right there, plus 18,000 another. So they're living off, 80,000 bucks. That's still pretty good if you ask me. And then we go down to Laura. Oops, I guess is that the last year? Yeah. So here's Laura. She's paying 1,800 bucks in taxes on $80,000 of income. Yeah, I don't have a qualm with that at all. Go back to cash flows. Question is, do they want to pay this kind of money on the front end? Man, I would, man. And then Mike dies right here. There's where the taxes go up. That's when Mike dies. Again, that tax payment includes Pennsylvania and the feds. I think it might be a little bit on the high end, but all right. So I think Mike should take Social Security at 67. I really do. I'm gonna go back and put that in there. I think Mike should take Social Security at 67. I'm gonna put that back in. I think Laura should take it at 70. Yep. Okay, cool. And I think they should start doing Roth conversions. I just think they need to start doing Roth conversions right out of the gate. 50,000 bucks. Actually, let's do 35. That might be. Let's do 40,000. Let's go retirement. They're not run out of money. All right, so we've solved that. We're gonna go to accounts. Ending balance by accounts. Yep. So there's. All right, cool. Okay, look. So Mike's IRA is gone by the time he is 20 in 2028, and then at that point, Laura will have a little bit of an IRA, but not much. Not much to have really major RMDs. Watch. Oops. Yeah, a couple $100 bucks. A couple $1,000, no big deal. Yeah, I like that. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. All right, so the IRAs are basically minimal. If Mike's is gone, it's all in a Roth. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. There we go. Yeah, I'm okay. That's the way to do it, man. That is the way to do it. So what we need to do here is let's just look at the tax thing again. Yeah, I just like this. Look at that. I just like this a lot. Yeah, they can pay a little bit more. I mean, just, man. 7.5 to the feds, or 8.2 to the feds, and 4.5 to state. That's not too shabby. You'd never have taxes again. Never run out of money, leaving that tax free to the kids. If they have, again, I don't know if they have kids or not. All right, so the scenario here that I would do, I would absolutely, what we want to do is if I were them and I was advising them, I want them to have keep a 50-50 stock bond cash ratio. And what we want is just like they already have. Mike has 80% of his portfolio and just, a total stock index of Vanguard, 20% in bonds or 20% cash. That, I mean, hell, he might just go ahead and put his whole thing in the S&P 500 or total stock index. I got no qualm with that. Laura's got, of her $200,000, $100,000 is sitting in CDs, and even though it's an IRA, you can still buy IRA CDs at the bank. $100,000 is sitting in the Ginnie Mae. It's a great portfolio. It's not going to make you a killing, but you're never going to get killed, man. I mean, just think of the $500,000, 250 is down. 250,000 is down 30%. That means it's down to $75,000, but the other 250,000 is sitting there even Steven, man. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, I get it. A 30% loss on a 250 is painful. Don't get me wrong, but they're still sitting on. I mean, they still haven't lost their shirts. And the Monte Carlo, when you look at what happens here, is they're looking the standard deviation of this kind of portfolio, saying 8.3. That means 66% of the time in a typical bell curve. We shouldn't use bell curves. Well, I kind of get that, but I mean, this is what we're using. 66% of the time, your portfolio will be 8.3% above or beyond this 4.7. Does that make sense? So on 66% of the time, your portfolio will be either between, I got to do 4.7 minus 8.3. You're 66% of the time, you'll have a negative 3.6%. Or 4.7 plus 8.3, or a positive 13. So 66% of the time it's going to be negative 3.7 or 13%. 95% of the time it's going to be two standard deviations off this. So your average is 8.3 times 2. So you'd be 16.6 minus 4.7. So it'd be negative 12. 95% of the time it would be negative 12 or 8.3 times 2 plus 4.7 or 21. So 95% of the time, your portfolio range will be negative 12 to positive 21, somewhere in between that. 99.6% of the time, I think is what it is, 8.3 times 3 plus 4.7. Your portfolio will be, in any given year, 29.6% on the positive, 8.3 times 3 minus 4.7, or 20% on the negative. So basically, this is roughly a 10%. So basically, 99.5% of the time, your portfolio could be down between 20% or up 30%. 99.5% of the time. I think that's, look, I mean, could we have a black swan, a fat tail? Sure. That's a pretty good probability. All right. And the Monte Carlo is taking all this into consideration when we're running these numbers, man. All these numbers show that. We have a bell curve. We have 99.5% of the time on any given year, it could be down 20%. On any given fallen year, it could be down 20%. 99.5% of the time, you'll be up 30%. Anywhere in between that. And that's how the Monte Carlo probabilities work. They take the average, the mean, the annual average return, and then they give a standard deviation. And we factor in standard deviation by 1, by 2, by 3 factors. 1 is 66% of the time you'll be between these numbers. 2, 95% of the time you'll be between these two numbers. 3, 99.5% you'll be between these two numbers. Perfect? No, because we're predicting the future. We have no idea. Anyway, so if I were them, what I would do, man, I would go in there and I would start doing Roth conversions. I mean, Mike can quit if he wants. I don't know their circumstance for healthcare, but Mike could quit. If he wanted to quit, wait till the end of this year, but just quit. That's fine. You don't have to. But if he's miserable and freaking putting on weight and high blood pressure and smoking 2 packs of Cools a day, then get the hell out of there, man. Ain't worth it. But we haven't done reverse mortgage here. We haven't even done reverse mortgages. We don't need to. Anyway, so I do 50% stocks for Mike, 50% cash for Laura, 50% bonds for her as well. And then you're done. But if the markets are up, pull the account that you need to live on from the markets that are up. If the markets are down, pull the cash you need on from Mike's cash and or bonds. What else do I want to say about this? Do Roth conversions. I would start with $40,000. Do a $40,000 Roth conversion. Now it's going to be painful because you're going to pay to the feds that first year 13th. Oh, that's the whole thing. You're going to pay $8,600 to the feds. That's painful. I think it's well worth it. And your next couple of years, you're going to bite the bullets. But then you got nothing. Then you're leaving Laura, the widow's tax trap, off $800. Whip the flip and do. Anyway, that's what I think. So, all in all, you guys looking pretty good, Mike. Yeah, and then you're living to 85, or still living to 90. You're spending $3,200 a month on top of the taxes, on top of the mortgage, not mortgage, the property tax, the homeowner's insurance, on top of health care. That's pretty solid across the board. Anyway, good luck to you, brother. I hope you and Laura enjoy your retirement. That was pretty good. All right, we'll see you guys.